What up, guys? Welcome to the Sound Centric Podcast. I'm Samuel Sarfo.
I'm Adam Dash.
And thank you all for tuning in for another episode. We got a lot to talk about today. We're going to be talking about the decline of albums, disparities between the income of mainstream independent artists, and of course, the big news, Travis Scott's Utopia. So make sure you stay tuned to the very end. We got a lot more to talk about. Go ahead and check out the website as well. We got a lot of great content. If you're an independent artist, go ahead and send us your music. Of course, we want to send you guys to the next stage and also help you promote your music. So go ahead and do that. And lastly, of course, if you like what you hear, make sure you like, subscribe, go ahead and tell a friend. I think that's all I gotta say. Let's not waste no time and let's get to it. All right, Adam.
So,
what's this week's playlist title and leading single?
So I'm sure this happens to you too, but sometimes there's songs that just videos that keep appearing on my Instagram feed over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
So I keep saying this Georgia Smith song of her recording with like a dance hall song,
and they're like at a DJ booth. And they're dancing?
Yeah. It's the little things that get me. So I'm going to say that will be the title and name of my playlist just because we're trying to enjoy the summer. You know, it's the last summer before I hopefully officially have a job. And summer changes that meaning where it's no longer that break from school. And it's just like you work for the rest of your life.
I feel you, bro.
Which is weird. So try and enjoy those little things that get you high, whether legally or illegally. How are we doing that? What's your playlist title?
I'm doing well, man, and also it's good to see Georgia back. She's also she's planning to drop an album soon. I don't know when, but she's coming back in full force.
Something about those British singers. British singers, for some reason, I feel like have the best voices.
100%. They're on a new wave. Like I think that American music, especially for 2023, has been a little bit on a standstill, and British music is really on the rise. It really is. For this week, my playlist title is going to be called Currents. Of course, currents are beautiful, but they're also really aggressive. They're physical. It reminds me of challenges, life. You get through difficulties, but at the end of it, there's going to be a nice horizon, and that difficulty is going to shape you up. Of course, you're both graduated from college, so this is the time we have to grind and put in our focus. Anyone out there has a goal out there, just keep grinding, keep going through it, because at the end of the day, it will turn out all right. And the song for that will be Bob Marley's song from his album Survival, which I got right here. I bought a couple of vinyls. I stopped by Records Per Second again.
I see with the swimming behind you.
Neck Jack. I copped a lot of stuff. The song's called Wake Up and Live by Bob Marley. That's one of my favorite albums of all time, Survival. Go check it out if you haven't heard it. I also went to Joey H's concert. Joey H is a local artist from Columbus. An amazing concert. He was an absolutely incredible performer. The crowd was amazing as well. And I guess they actually showed some concert etiquette, right? I'm not sure if you've seen what's been going on with people throwing stuff at artists.
It is wild.
It is wild.
It is crazy. I don't know who these people are. Is it for TikTok? You think it's funny? Like, who was that girl that got literally hit by a phone in the face?
Oh yeah,
she got
BB
stitches.
Rexa. Yep.
That was BB Rexa.
Yep.
And then I think this was a marketing stunt because like the dancers in the back didn't stop, but Lil Nas X had someone throw.
Oh, probably. You said Lil Nas X. That's probably.
Yeah. Someone threw like a pocket pussy at him, and he's like, "Who threw a pussy on stage?" But I think that was. He's good with marketing. He knows what he's doing.
He's a genius.
And people reported it like it was a real thing, but realistically, I think he planned that. But it is crazy that people go to these shows thinking they can just do these things. My best friend Jake, when he was in high school, went to a concert and threw his phone on stage to Uzi. Which I don't know what he was expecting to happen, and Uzi like picked it up and just threw it in the crowd.
Oh, dead ass.
And someone actually got it for him, and he called from his friend's phone. And they're like, "Oh, we're like outside here at the concert. If you want to get your phone back, like we got you." But
honestly, big kahunas
crazy
from Jake.
Move.
Big kahunas from Jake. I could not imagine doing that. It seems like that's what the trend is. People throwing their phones on stage. Hopefully the artist will pick it up and record. But it's like, how are you going to get your phone back? And that $1,000 phone, I kind of need that. So I don't know why that's been going on. Like you said, BB Rexa got hit in the face. If you're not heard about Pink, first shout out to Pink. She's like, even she's been in the industry for so long, but she's still killing it. She's still flying across stages. If you see videos of her, but someone threw their mother's ashes on stage while she was performing, and it was just so weird and awkward. She's like, "What is this?" And it was so strange. And of course, Drake recently at Chicago, someone literally threw a phone, chucked it at his knee. Not sure how he didn't buckle and fall, but he kept it professional and kept singing.
Yeah, I mean, there's a video also of him, like, people kept throwing bras at him. He's like, "Can you guys stop throwing bras at me?" And someone threw a full Jordan 4 at him. And he's like, "Who threw their big-ass shoe on stage?" Which, did someone bring an extra shoe, or did they take off, like, an expensive Jordan off their foot and, like, threw it to Drake? It's can be funny, but it's scary for an artist now that you should like look out for that. So it's on top of making sure the crowd's safe and everyone's having a good time and no one's getting trampled. Now you have to like duck and weave from a fucking phone.
Especially with what happened with the Travis Scott concert, I think they're really going to shut down on that. And I think those who are continuing to do that are going to be like, I don't know, fined or possible suspensions from going to concerts.
I'm sure you get like, you get like charged with assault or something if you throw a phone at an artist.
Probably.
I think they had to do something with that. And Travis, I know, got acquitted of his whole thing. I don't know if that was necessarily his fault. That was so long ago too.
It feels like it, yeah.
But yeah, people are fucking crazy. Like, what are you trying to injure these people? And already at concerts, you can't, if you get like a water bottle, they take off the cap for you. So you don't like do one of those like twist things and like shoot them on stage. Yeah. If you go to a concert, it's so annoying because then you have to hold a full water bottle. And you have to like, you can't finish it because the concert starts and you have to like put it down. Which is annoying, but who knows? Maybe they start taking phones. Like, at some comedy shows, they take your phones first so you can't record. Maybe it gets to that point. The artists start doing that.
Maybe, hey, wild. It'll make sure to keep the actual like experience. I know Dave Chappelle did that as well. Just to make sure you keep the jokes inward because, of course, social media ruins everything, all the surprises. So I don't know if I have a problem with that, but I know a lot of people will. But like I said before, that Joey concert was amazing. Another thing that really came to my mind was also just the disparities in income between independent artists and mainstream artists in both sectors, in streaming and in concert venues, live performances. Of course, when it comes to streaming, people are paid pennies of the dollars. There's literally like no way to make music as an independent artist through streaming. And of course, the good old saying in the music industry is there's no music in that, which is cap, which is why labels own all the distributing and masters, right? But there's money in performing in concerts. But even today, there is literally no way you can really make money with concert venues because first off, most of the time people break even or they lose the money. And it's kind of like a pay to play, especially with Live Nation and Ticketmaster. Sometimes these introductory acts need to literally pay to get on these stages. And people don't also include the fact of, we need to pay for equipment. We need to pay for transportation. And that's why like their stage designs aren't as complex and great because they just don't have the money to do that. So it's tough. It really is tough out here for them.
Yeah, so Joey, you sent me videos of it and he was performing with a band, which is like my favorite thing. Shout out to him for doing that. But then you have to pay the band, and that's another expense you have to go through. And when you're an independent artist, you're basically a startup company. And it's like Joey got investors. He had Landshark, the brewery, like invest in him. And that's kind of what it is. And you have to take the chance to invest in yourself. I think it was Vince Staples was talking about Mac Miller. But like Mac Miller was such a good thing to young artists because he would take like Vince Staples on tour with one album out and would pay him. And would show him how to do everything. So like that literally started his career because he was able to make fans and didn't have to worry about like, I'm about to have like 8 months of no income. Yeah. But yeah, it's great. You have to invest in yourself. And that's why my girl Jazz always talks about having the album rollouts, but that's another expense that you have to do. And sometimes you hit up a producer and they're trying to like fuck you over and they're going to, not even fuck you over. They're doing their own small business and they're trying to make their money. And then you hit up a videographer for your music video. He's trying to make his money or her money. And it's just every single thing. It's another expense. Your album ends up being like multi-$1,000s. And you might be like a 17-year-old. You're like, shit, this is a big barrier to entry.
And that's what's so annoying when people like show disrespect or boo introductory acts before the headlining act. Because it's like, first off, they're good, but they also just don't have like the space to even get to that level without that type of support, which is so annoying. So always make sure you support the introductory acts. Don't just skip those. Don't just skip them and just focus on the mainstream artists. Go and actually attend these concerts from beginning to end. But what's crazy too is the fact that this isn't just independent artists. This is mainstream artists too. Little Sim specifically for a 2021 album, Sometimes I Might Be Introvert. In 2022, she had to cancel her USA tour because she didn't have the money to go on tour. Same thing with Shawn Mendes as well. So it's a thing that's happening like across the industry, seriously. So there's just not enough money in it. So it's like, where's the money? Artists aren't making money.
I guess merchandise is that place now. I know Camino has a line. He's like, I made $1 million off the hoodie. And Chance, clearly, like that's always the famous story of he made so much money off that 3 hat that we'd never see anyone wear, but he apparently made like $5 million off of it. But yeah, that's why I'm big on like artists. I like when they make their merch like kind of a brand and not just like an ugly t-shirt with a big ass like face of them on it. And separate from that, but I know Drake recently, and I love that he did this. He had to pay $230,000 because he went over his time limit in Detroit, past the city limit. Hey, if you're an artist and you're going to go on late and you're making that money, you better, I don't want you to do 5 songs less because you decided to come on late for your concert.
Yeah, 100%.
So shout out to Drake for actually to keep going, because we know a lot of artists that show up late and don't give a fuck about their fans.
Nope.
And they waste everyone's time.
I won't forget the Little Uzi concert at OSU. I was a sophomore, so I think you were a freshman. He showed up like an hour late and literally didn't even. It was like honestly a 20-minute performance, then he dipped. I will not forget that. Technically, that was my first ever concert, but I don't even consider it because it was really whack. But I'm happy you mentioned about merch, because now the situation is companies like Ticketmaster and Live Nation, they're also taking percentages off the merch, which is why merch is so expensive. Really? Yes, because it's not the artist getting money anymore. It's the company that's also making money as well. So now they have to raise the price, and that's when you go to a concert venue, a t-shirt is like $60. But hey, I mean, it's worth it if you really like that artist, but it's crazy.
Yeah, the merch. I'm someone who loves getting stuff at just like remember the concert. And if it's cool, like I'm really happy to get merch. But shit's expensive, yeah.
It is.
And it's like $100 for a hoodie, and it's a bitch.
And that's why I have a newfound respect for like TikTok artists now. Like, there's no money in this. So the only way you can make money is through social media, right? Through TikTok, through Instagram Reels. And of course, a lot of people clown these artists, but that's literally where the money is, being an influencer.
Yeah. I know Seth Such posted on his Twitter that his Instagram got banned because he posted a picture of him at the gym. And like, it's actually just a picture of the gym. I don't know why he was banned. And he's like, yeah, this is sick that they banned me from like my one place of income.
Yeah.
Which is like, yeah, shit. That's like, if your Twitter, I know people whose Twitters have gotten suspended or like permanently suspended for like doing something that doesn't make any sense for them to be suspended for. And like, they restart their whole Twitter account and rebuild up their brand. I think that happened to Dante Thomas, who's a rapper.
Maybe.
And you have to basically like restart, and that's very discouraging as an artist.
It is.
Fuck. If I don't have that many followers, we're trying to build it. If I finally got to 2,000 followers and my account was permanently banned, I would like feel lost. Like, what was that all for?
Exactly. And a lot of and the fans and the consumers don't really get this. They might look at the videos and think, oh, they're living this lifestyle. But I'm telling you, the majority artists you see, even the mainstream ones, they're really breaking even. It's really slow, which is why you see them doing all the gimmicks and all the wild things just so they can get some type of publicity to push up that income. You know, so it's really tough out here for both mainstream artists and independent artists. And speaking of independent artists, one of my favorite artists right now is Omar Apollo. I've been studying, so good, exactly. I've been studying his music a lot in terms of his songwriting, his singing, and I was going through. What'd you say?
Is he independent?
Maybe not now, but he did start independent. Maybe he still is.
His song "Kamikaze" is like always stuck in my head. That song's amazing.
Incredible artist, right? And I was looking through his discog, and he dropped an album recently in 2022 called Ivory, and I kind of noticed that they called this album his debut album, even though he already had 3 albums. Or projects, I should call them, before. And then it got me thinking, hey, wasn't The Big Day by chance also his debut project, even though he dropped 3 albums, arguably better than The Big Day? Yeah. So my question is, what's going on with this definition change of what an album is? Why aren't artists dropping albums anymore? It seems like people are just dropping projects willy-nilly just because, but I think that's also just the ease of dropping album. There's no restraints from record labels.
Yeah, it's always confusing. Like Conway, the Machine, dropped an album, maybe it was last year, and he's like, this is my shady debut. Yeah. It's like, damn, I've heard like 5 albums from you since I started being a fan. And I guess it's up to the artist, whatever they want to call it, but like at the end of the day, we see it as a project. So if it works technically for them to say this is my debut album or my major label debut, might be the difference maker, because I guess Chance wasn't signed for a coloring book. He called it a mixtape, for at least. And there's mixtapes, and there's demo tapes, and there's EPs, which I believe is supposed to be 5 songs or less, but fuck it, 10 songs EP. I don't know. I don't know what's I don't get why they classify it as what they do. I guess it makes them feel better. Like, oh, I'm gonna market this as my debut album, which is bigger than like what this mixtape was.
Yeah. And the question becomes, is it because they're scared to drop an official album because there's so much anticipation for that? Or is it just by choice and creative expression? In terms of the definitions, right, an EP is 3 to 6 tracks and has to be under 30 minutes. Your favorite project, our favorite project, Daytona, is literally 7 tracks in 21
Yeah.
minutes, and it's an album, right? An LP, a full-length album, is 7 to 29 tracks, between 35 and 60 minutes. But I know that Janelle Monáe dropped The Age of Pleasure, and that was 12 tracks for 32 minutes. So it seems like there's literally no definition, and people can kind of drop whatever they want to drop. I don't know if you think that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I also think because of streaming, that's changed that as well, and also the genre bending we see as well.
I think it's just an artistic choice for most artists, because mixtapes culturally have like a feeling to them. Like when you think of a mixtape, you think of something like more raw. So say JID wanted to drop an album where he's rapping over other people's beats, and he say it's legally signed off, he can put in Apple Music. It's still, he's going to reference that as a mixtape because it doesn't have like the transitions, doesn't have that importance of a album, doesn't have like a cohesive sound to it. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's just all artistic. Their albums, they want this to be this big whole thing. But yeah, you could point with Daytona, it's a short album, but that's like an artistic masterpiece to him and to me, obviously.
I 100% agree. I think it is an artistic expression, but then the question becomes, how does this affect in terms of contracts, right? Recently we saw with Drake, he dropped If You're Reading This It's Too Late, which was technically a mixtape, right? But that was just to get out of his deal. We've also seen artists being stuck in their deals with Megan Thee Stallion recently with 1501 Certified Entertainment, where she dropped a project, but they didn't consider it an album. And then now she can't release any albums and she's locked into this contract. And in my head, is it even possible to make a mixtape in 2023? Like, I feel like obviously in the early 2000s, clearly like 50 Cent or Lil Wayne, these are mixtapes. But in a streaming world, I don't know if you can make a mixtape. You can call it a mixtape, but I don't think so.
I guess, well, when I think of mixtapes, not like, I don't know how 50 Cent and Lil Wayne like released those. I guess you were getting them like on the street in CDs. But I'm like, if I'm thinking like Friday Night Lights, or I'm just thinking of like stuff that was on DatPiff and on SoundCloud, I think of mixtapes as something that was given out for free. So Chance the Rapper famously was like giving out everything for free. Like even, I think Coloring Book was, you could find it on SoundCloud if you wanted, like completely for free. But now everybody can get on streaming services, and I mean, there's AudioMac, which is great, but people aren't really using any other sites besides their main Spotify or Apple Music. Maybe some people use Google Play. I don't. But yeah, it's like all these things are like you're paying for them because you're paying for a monthly subscription. So they really like have that mixtape feel. I think at the end of the day, it's just artistic. Like it has that gritty feeling to it.
So you don't think it's a bad thing that there's technically albums are kind of extinct now?
I don't think albums are extinct. And like to your point about like the lack of making money, that's why you're seeing these bloated albums that are over 20 songs. And I'll go back to that Uzi album. I'm sorry, I'm just not re-listening to it. I didn't enjoy my first listen, and it's too long for like me to re-listen again. I'm just not enjoying it enough to have to find 2 songs I like in a haystack of 25 songs. And there are people that love the art of making albums. Someone tweeted yesterday, I think it was Joey Hip Hop, was saying, what's an album that you have to listen front to back to really get it? And I was like, To Pimp a Butterfly, behind me. Like some of those songs, you can't just listen on their own. They make so much sense in the context of the album. You can listen to All Right and listen to King Kunta separately, but say the new album, like Mother Eyes Sober, like you're not just bumping that. It's made for that album. So at the end of the day, it's just who you mess with. And we tend to like artists that create these album sounds to it. And some people like that bloated sound. I literally would, if J. Cole said his album was 25 songs, I would not be happy. And that's my favorite artist of all time. I mean, it's just too much. I don't expect this to be that good.
But that's the new tactic now, in order to get these streams. And I think Drake started that. I think Drake was the one who pioneered that in 2016 with Views, when he made that long album that wasn't seen before as much during that time era.
Good album. It's a good album.
Okay. Wow. I'm actually surprised to hear you say that. I think you would say it was an awful project. I like Views, but
Drake doesn't make awful projects. He makes bloated projects that have some very generic Drake songs. But like, it's Drake. Like, there's amazing songs in every single album.
Well, guess what? If you love him so much, he's going to be dropping his new, For All the Dogs, his newest project. And I know you've been having a gripe of artists not dropping consistently. Drake obviously feeds his fans, but I don't know. When do you think is the best time for artists to drop? How often should they be dropping?
So I have two things about this. One, Drake came out and he's like, there's some artists, I think he was throwing a shot at Kendrick. I don't know the relationship. He's saying some of these artists wait way too long, and some of these artists out there, that's not what he said, but some of these artists wait way too short, and it's just like too much music coming constantly. That's a big thing with deluxe albums, that they're dropped the week after, and it's like, yeah, let me find my favorite songs in the album first. So like Tyler did it perfectly. 2 years later, here are the songs that didn't make the album, and they're better than like everyone else in the industry's songs in general. But the waiting too long, I saw a Travis Scott snippet was posted from like a radio station yesterday, and everyone was like, shit, this can't be on Utopia. It's not good enough. I'm telling you now, when Utopia drops, people will say it sucks under 24 hours of when it comes out. And that's because you wait 5 years, this expectation is going to be ginormous, and it never lives up to the expectation. It's not possible. Astroworld, I'm sure at first, when it first came out, I think there was like that Navs verse that was like quiet, and like people were roasting that. I'm sure it wasn't loved at first. It is universally loved now, but expectations just fuck everything up. And I think, what do these artists do? And we're talking about artists not making enough money. What do they do between albums? Obviously, if you're Travis Scott or Kendrick Lamar, you're fine. But some artists, let's say Boz, Dreamville, love him so much. His last album was so amazing. It's been 5 years. I don't know what he does. He might have separate businesses. Good for him if he does. But like, what the fuck are you doing?
Man, it gets tiring sometimes, you know. You gotta show some empathy, Adam. You know, these artists, it's stressful with all the fame and okay. In my opinion, I think honestly, I don't care when an artist drops. I feel like it's up to you. It's your artistic integrity. You drop whenever you feel like. Of course, there's a risk of not dropping for a long time, especially in our era, because there's just so many distractions, so many things coming out. You're going to be forgotten very easily. But I think there's a few artists who can maybe do that. Travis is one of them. The anticipation is high. But guess what?
Yeah, I'm so
Even
excited.
if the album sucks, man, the pockets are fat because with all this anticipation, right, he's going to have a solid album sale first week.
Yeah. Oh, and I think he would have had equal sales if it was released last summer. Obviously, his was pushed back because of him dealing with the Astroworld stuff. And he dropped like Mafia and what was the other song?
Oh, the one with J. Cole.
Escape Plan.
Oh, Escape Plan.
Mafia was with J. Cole.
Yeah.
So those were two great songs, and I think that was trying to lead up to Utopia, and that kind of fucked it up. And say you're Rihanna, you have your Fendi business, like you're doing other stuff. But some of these artists, I don't get what they do, and they're not big enough to be doing this. I know JID, when he dropped this album, he said, "You're never gonna wait this long again for me to drop an album." And it's like, good. And I love Jid. It's one of my favorite rappers of all time. But you also can't wait 5 years to drop an album. You gotta be out there touring. You gotta be doing those small things that make your fan base love you. You gotta be interacting on social media. And he does a good job of it. So I'm happy he said he's never gonna do that again. But come on.
We're on opposite poles, I think. For me, I like when artists don't drop for a while. Like, you need to build at least 2 years, right? Listen, if you want to make an album, dude, you need to have lived life. What are you going to tell me a year later? You have to have experiences. You have to have changed things. 444 wouldn't have came out if Jay dropped consistently. It takes time to create masterpieces like that. To Pimp a Butterfly, masterpieces, damn, etc., etc.
Jay in his like early prime was dropping like every 3 years or 2 years.
But were all those albums classics and universal?
No, I agree. But also, not every artist you listen to is listened to for that deep reason.
Okay, so if you're here for the short term, right, then you got to drop.
Hey, I'm not expecting Travis Scott to say some introspective stuff that will make me rethink my life. Even his like most introspective song, Coffee Bean on Astroworld, isn't even written by him. So it's written by Sci-Hi,
right? Yep.
Yeah.
Goated.
So I'm not like expecting that from every artist. So I keep going back to Boz because I love Boz so much, and I'm not expecting like the most potent stuff. I just think he makes such good music. So drop. Frank Ocean, I know you're doing other business, but like, drop. What else? You're a musician. You don't have to go on tour. You have enough money, but don't you want to release music?
I'm an old head, man. I like the mysterious music and the mystique and not coming out, being quiet, and all of a sudden you pop up and it's exciting. That's what I love.
I'll say Drake has, I'm not going to complain because there's going to be great songs on it. He has dropped a little frequently for me to really digest all these songs and all this music. And this is separate from this conversation, but apparently this is an R&B album. Can he just drop a full rap album? He's dropped full R&B albums already. Just drop a full rap album and show everyone that you're one of the best rappers of all time, like pen game. just go off. He could do it so easily. And he's like, boys, he can get production, right? Get DJ Premier production. He's had DJ Premier featured.
It's sad because I don't think he ever will. Listen, my hopes broke with Honestly Nevermind. I was talking crazy when he announced that he's going to be dropping at midnight. I was like, oh, Drake is back. He's going to show y'all.
I thought we had it.
That little house EDM shit. Oh my God. That was unforgivable. The album is not that bad. It's actually kind of slaps, but even so, man, I just want 2015 Drake back. I want If You're Reading This Is Too Late Drake back.
Yeah. But hey, and even that album has great R&B cuts. And I just want one album, just 10 songs, just rap your ass off. I think it's so easy if he did it, get a J. Cole feature, easy money. J. Cole will do it in a second. Or he can get anyone, just get Hove spitting on their album, get J. Cole spitting their album, and I would, if you get like soul samples on it, I bet every single person would go, this is the classic album instantly.
100%. But hey, Drake has this brand where he has to appease everybody, so he's going to make songs that appease everybody. It is what it is. But hey, if you are kind of underwhelmed about Drake, we can talk more about this Travis project, right? So it's definitely coming out on July 28th, just based on some sources, and also Wikipedia says so. If Wikipedia says something, of course, it's 100% credible. And it basically came out from a little pamphlet he released on social media. And on July 28th is going to be a live stream in Egypt in the pyramids, which is crazy. And he's been also posting some social media videos, 3 of them specifically. Yes. So I'm going to ignore the other 2. The main one is he's working with Rick Rubin. Listen,
I love it.
I was kind of underwhelmed, not until he announced it, but beforehand, because I'm like, it's been 5 years, and Travis has been built up to be this rager guy. It's a lit, space-themed dude. But I'm telling you, if Travis can really focus on this project, I mean, it's already done now, so it's just waiting for the drop. But if he really focused on this album, and if he was experimental, if he stayed away from these trap themes, he stayed away from the redundancy of trap music and the production and lyrically, and he actually stepped up his songwriting and he steps up his production. Because I love Travis when he's on his rock, Tame Impala, lo-fi vibe. If he has tracks like Coffee Bean, like you said, Skeleton, Stop Trying to Be God, with that Rick Rubin understudy helping him, I mean, man, I think this album could be one of the best projects of the year.
Yeah, I love that artists check in with Rick Rubin before they drop. I saw even a video like he has so many artists come to his studio that we don't know about. I saw like Kenny Mason was in his studio. So I think Rick Rubin's so in touch with like what's happening. And I was re-listening to Astroworld recently, and right now I'm going through like a Can't Say phase. Just keep playing Can't Say.
Yeah,
he's really good, and it's not about what he says. His rapping skill isn't like the highest of lyrical ability. He's just really good at melodies, and he picks the right artist to come on songs. So yeah, I think he loves Tame Impala. Like he has these inspirations. I'm sure Kanye will be on the album somewhere.
Probably.
If you like it or not, it will probably be a great contribution to the album. It's so hard not to go with expectations because they are high, but I can't expect it. I don't expect it to not be good. There's just no way.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, how good do you think this album will be after all the hype? Or will it meet your expectations?
What's a 5 and what's a 10?
I guess 5 would be mid, I guess, or maybe 6 is mid. I don't know.
Album? I need an album to compare it to. Like okay, 5. Let me think.
Did Astroworld age well for you?
Let's just I think it aged well. Okay. I wasn't into my trap phase when it came out. That night I was bumping Swimming. Like that was my album that night, and that was my album of the summer. So Astroworld was something when I went to college. Like everyone knows every single song. It's a rare album where I think like every song is so popular. So I'm expecting a similar Astroworld. Every single song is gonna be great. And I think he's the type of artist that does. I think he does 1 hour. I think he does 15 songs. I don't think it's bloated. It's my expectation. Who do you want to see on it? And what producer? Somebody like Abbott.
Obviously, Mike Dean, Rick Rubin is in there. We saw also through the promotion on social media that The Weeknd is going to be on there as well. At least it seems like it. He's been in the studio, and there's been pictures of him with the security guard holding the Utopia briefcase. Yeah. Honestly, I don't care much about the features because Travis always goes crazy with them. I'm not hoping for anyone. I'm just hoping that this project breaks new ground for Travis. Because I'm telling you, man, if he does the same thing like these previous 3 albums and just flowing on trap beats, it's lit. That's just lame. to me at least. And I just want to see progression. Travis is a really talented dude. I don't think he should stay complacent. He should continue to evolve. And this could be the project that really sets him forward and takes him above, possibly above or in between K-Dot, Cole, and Drake. We need that fourth person. There isn't a fourth person. Hip hop is in a drought right now. We know that. Travis can fix that right here, right now. I know I'm putting the weight on his shoulders, but I do not care.
Yeah.
Don't play around. This is Utopia. We've waited 5 years, my guy.
I would say many people would say Future is in that spot just because every single album he releases is is a hit, like just sales wise and whatever. I would love for Travis to be in that spot. I saw Bad Bunny was holding the suitcase, which if that song's as good as like it could be, like that's just a global hit. That's a number one song in the world if they deliver that song. And if I want a J. Cole feature. He got him in Mafia singing at the end.
Yeah.
So they have some type of hookup together. I'm down. I'm even down for like melodic Cole, like him, like getting into his bag with some melodies, maybe some autotune. I don't know. Down for it. And hey, Kanye production. I'm always here for Kanye production.
100%.
Even though it's a little, yeah, even though it's a little shaky right now. I mean, Travis, shaky. I don't think Travis gives like a shit about what's going on. It's Kanye West. If you can get Kanye West on your album, which I'm 100% sure Kanye has some part on this album. I don't need him rapping now.
Heck no. No offense, Kanye.
It's been pretty bad recently. But yeah, give me some production. Yeah. Give me a fucking great ass beat.
Yeah. And I think that's the interesting thing too when it comes to making albums with this much weight. How many songs can he include that are older, or does he have to make a fresh new album? You know, Dominc Fike also dropped his album as well. I was listening to his interview with Zane Lowe, and one interesting thing he said was similar to many artists who have to hold their albums. His label had to make him hold his album. His album was already done, and majority of the songs on his album were 3 years old. That's what he said. Yeah. And I don't want to act fake and act like this is new and refreshing because it isn't. So when it comes to Travis, at least, I'm hoping it can be a little bit of new music. Of course, he dropped Mafia and Escape Plan. I don't know. It's kind of a while ago, right? 2 years ago?
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah.
That sucks that artists have to hold their music because on one hand, when you release music really fast, which I used to do that in high school, I'd like make a song, drop it the next week. And then you look back and you're like, oh, that song wasn't that good. Sometimes you do need to live with a song for a year. But on the other hand, when you do go through different life experiences, say you make a song about a breakup, a whole album, and they shelf it for 3 years. Now you're in a happy relationship. It's like, I don't even feel this way anymore. This is just not, I don't relate to this. I've grown.
Yeah.
And J. Cole's been making the fall off since Revenge of the Dreamers.
Yep.
How is he sitting with these songs for that long? You would have to be tinkering with it. Or just drop it. I want music. So this goes back to the whole, how often should you drop? I think it has to be, how can you sit with a song for 3 years?
Yeah, but I also don't think J. Cole wants to hear hip hop Twitter or a bunch of critics being like mid or trash. I think he really wants to drop a classic.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, okay? Listen to this. To me, J. Cole has one classic album, 2014 Forest Hill Drive. I don't want J. Cole to peak at that album.
And
I want him, in the mixtape, sure. But I'm talking about studio albums. Mixtapes are courtesy. I want studio albums. He just has one, and that was in 2014. It's currently 2023. He needs to peak one more time. He has to.
I think he will. But people will say, I mean, every verse he spits, you saw Bdot's list. He has him at number 1, which is ridiculous of a list.
Yeah.
But that for Summer from Cole, crazy verse. Love that one. I'm trying to think what else has dropped this year. That he has a couple features.
Yeah. Did you see Bdot's list? He was number 1 or number 2?
He was number 1 for no reason.
Yeah, I was like, did he even drop anything this year?
He's ridiculous. Bro,
all my life.
They interviewed Conway, who drops an album this year that's a very good album. And like especially lyrically, Conway is amazing. And you don't have him in top 10? Like if I'm Conway, I'd be like, fuck you. Like why'd I go on your show? That's fucked up. But that list is like Cardi B. I'll be honest, every feature Cardi B drops, it's really good. I'm very impressed whenever she drops. I like the rip me out the bus cause I'm feeling brand new. Like yeah, it's a fire track. I'm trying to think who else was on that list. It was a very bad list. Dominc Fike though, it was a dope album. I actually released him this morning. I don't like when he raps.
Really? You didn't like Sunburn?
I like the end of Sunburn.
That is crazy. Little do you know, he was a rapper. But as soon as he signed, the interesting thing about Dominc Fike was he was kind of he had a real interesting coming up story. A lot of drug abuse with his family, a lot of imprisonment and things like that. But he was in jail when he signed his record label, And the reason he signed it was because he needed the money to get out, to support his family and whatnot.
Yeah.
And there was a bidding war for him, but he kind of focused on this one label, and that's been it ever since. But beforehand, he was like a known rapper in Florida, like a local street like rapper.
Really?
Incredible rapper. Yes, like underground scene until he signed the label, and they completely flipped him to this pop star and literally deleted all of his old hip hop stuff. So you will not find it. It's hard.
That's crazy. I did not know that. I don't know. His rapping is a little cringy for me. And like some of the songs in the album, too poppy, and some of the songs in the album are a little cringy for me, but that's like not, some people love that type of music.
Pop music, right? It is what it is.
Yeah. But the songs where he's like singing, I really love Mona Lisa. 4x4 is one of them. I'm trying to think of the other ones. Oh, there's certain songs where I'm like, this is a really good song. Some I'm like, this kind of sounds like the Kid Leroy. It's not really my thing.
Yeah.
But shout out to him. Mona Lisa, fucking fire.
Cardi B might drop as well. And again, maybe Cole might do something, or maybe next year. The biggest thing with Cole, and we can end it on here, is I think he will deliver only because sometimes when you watch rappers, they hit a plateau, not because they're not good enough, but they kind of just stay where they're at. J. Cole, to me, is better than he's ever been, ever in his career. He is improving, and we're seeing it in lifetime. Kendrick has always been goated. I'm not saying he's not improving, but I feel like he's just as good as he was in 2015. But I think J. Cole now is a lot better than he was in 2014, 2015, etc.
Yeah. And similar to, so you wanted to say last episode that Kendrick was having fun on whatever the Hillbillies.
I want to take back my statement too. The song is not bad.
I think it's bad. But J. Cole, and that's what Cole said about the offseason. He's like, I was just having fun again. So that's what, to me, that's what fun looks like. You're just barring out on songs.
Okay.
Applying pressure. Start back with my... That's
sure, he's having fun, but he's taking it serious. Kendrick was not taking it serious. It was just a troll song. So it can't be bad or good to me because he's just trolling.
Yeah. And one last comment about the albums taking long to release. Cardi B, it's 5+ years. I mean, I'm sure she's been gone. Money. But hey, when she drops, it'll probably be a hit because she's good.
Do you think it'll sell?
I like her. I think it will sell. I just like her voice and her personality. She's funny. She clearly makes great songs. She's that mix of like Latina music and has like the rap. I think she's great. Oh, isn't Nicki Minaj dropping soon?
I have no clue.
I don't know.
But hey, Cardi's an interesting case, man.
Oppenheimer 1 week, Barbie 1 week. Let's go. We're eating.
Yeah, I already have Oppenheimer already scheduled. I've already got the tickets.
Really?
Barbie, my friends like clouding me, but like you guys don't understand. Barbie's gonna go crazy. Don't sleep on it. Exactly.
I want to see it.
Exactly. But just to end this on Cardi too as well. I think this was a good convo, but we can end it. I feel whatever. We can end it here. But Cardi, I've just never seen an artist to just come in, shake up the industry, and literally just disappear and not drop music ever again. And I think it's a record label thing. Because remember, she had like It's Up and It's Stuck and WAP. I think those are supposed to be on the project, but I don't know what's going on with her label. She had a problem. Now they're fine. They're holding it. I don't know, but I don't know.
She just drops hits, and now she's like with only one album out, she's like an OG for these girls, and she just hops on the songs she likes. It's awesome.
Do you think she's goated or not yet?
It's so hard with one album.
That's what I'm saying. But, hey, Lauryn Hill.
Hey, she got a Grammy.
Right, she got a Grammy.
She got a Grammy. I feel like there's always like beef amongst female rappers, as if, and it's always this thing like, why does there only have to be one female rapper? Why can't there be a bunch? And I think that she's doing a good job of being like an OG who hops on songs to make it more friendly. It doesn't have to be beef all the time. All these guys get to like hop on each other's songs and be friends.
Facts.
Why can't the girls do it? Same thing with like NBA players. People are like, I miss the beef. But I think it's cool that these guys, they get in the NBA. Like they've grown up playing AAU basketball. They're all boys now. Like everyone's friends.
Hey, hopefully your dreams come to fruition. All the female rappers will get together and just get on this huge collab. But if you guys made it to the very end, thank you guys for tuning in for another episode. If you haven't done so already, if you like what you hear, like, subscribe, share the good news. But I think that's all we have to say for today. Until next time, am I missing anything, Adam?
Nah.
All right. And we are out.
Peace. It's some wet ass.